Hello drone racers! It seems like it's been a little while since I've reviewed a 95mm drone, so here we go. This is the GoFly Falcon Mini FPV quadcopter, and it's $133, so it's a little pricey compared to some of the other options now, but it really caught my eye, and I'll show you why. First, I kind of like, I've never seen this before, how they attached it in the box. It's just here loose and it's totally assembled, but there's this piece of foam that covers the bottom, and they velcroed the battery strap to the bottom of it to hold it in place to make sure it doesn't move around in shipping. It's kind of clever, it's really simple. It's a good idea, I like that. So taking a look at it, I like the carbon fiber sweep that they've got here and how it totally encloses everything. The camera looks like it's gonna be decent. It comes with prop guards built on, so some people are gonna love that, some people are gonna hate that. I'm not really a fan of prop guards for outside racers, but this might be viable flying inside until I look at the camera angle. And I look at the angle I need to get even with that, and that's a fast drone. So I'm going to be looking at the ceiling if I fly it inside. Racing it outside, it's going to be good. This is a 2 or 3S racer. It's rated for that, so that's good. You know we're going to try that one, 3S. Comes with an XT30 connector. Please, everyone, just start using these. The motors are 1104 7500, so that's a little high for 3S, but it'll probably work. These props look like total crap. They just feel like cheap plastic. I don't think these are going to be any good at all. I will try it with these first because I'm a proponent of trying everything the way it ships, but I expect to rip these off and put on 2-inch gem fans, which should fit just fine. There is an option for a DSM-2 receiver, but I don't have that. This is just shipped without a receiver, so I'm going to install an XM in this. I'm just going to do a standard XM because it only has a 25 milliwatt transmitter. I think the days of 25 milliwatt transmitters are numbered, but that's what this has in it for now. That's probably my biggest downside here. So my first dilemma, oh, also at the bottom, it is a single piece, but with lots of it cut out, so it's actually really light. I'm going to compare this with a couple others. Okay, so the Falcon, which will be a little heavier because of these, and I may take these off before we're done today, is 72 grams. Just by comparison, the Lizard, it weighs more than a Lizard? Really? 70 grams. 62 grams. I have props, I have battery, everything's the same, and I don't even have a receiver in this yet. Actually, it's heavy. How about that? For the same size. Because an AR Fun Pro is 54 grams. That's things super light and small. And just for good measure, the Leader 120 is 68 grams. So as much as they've got cut out of here, it's actually the heaviest. It's kind of porky. That is not at all what I expected to find. So now my next dilemma is I need to install a receiver in here. The ports to connect it are at least really obvious. I have a ground 5 volts, 3.3 volts, and the RX port, but I don't know where to put the receiver. This is all sealed, which is kind of nice, but I can't get in there. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to open this up in order to get that in there, and I'll be back. So it's pretty clever how it goes together. The camera is held in with one screw, and there was another screw in the front, which is attached to this curvy black piece that goes on there. And then this is also held in, kind of notched in the side frame panel with holes here. So it's held in there and it's just notched into there. Holds it all in place pretty well. Same thing for the back, which is a separate piece, which has the antenna going through it. And then the VTX is on top and it has the light so you can see what it is, which you can't see at all once the cover is all on top. That's kind of ridiculous. The camera is adjustable, so I didn't think it was with those 2 screws, but there's just one screw on each side, so you should be able to angle it to whatever angle you want. I kind of like the default though. So there is just enough room for an XM receiver in here. An XM Plus probably wouldn't fit, but it'll fit between the width there. Slide on top, wire these down to the 3 pads here, and it should be easy to connect. I'm not going to go through the soldering in this video. We're just going to get those connected and I'll get it in place. There we go, receivers installed. It was actually just really easy, just 3 wires. I had to add solder to the 5-volt pad. Also, if I haven't pointed out, there is a buzzer in here, which is good. It's kind of hidden inside the case. There are LEDs, but again, they're hidden inside the case, so you can't really see them. Also on this side, hidden behind this panel, is the option to change the transmitter. So that's going to be a pain if you can do it at all. Hard to imagine flying these with a group of people because changing everything around is just not going to be easy to do. Now I'm going to get it set up and bound with my radio and we'll take a look there. Normally when I'm doing this, I like to test it with the batteries that it comes with, but that's another thing for this one. It doesn't come with a battery or a receiver or much of anything for the price. Can you see I'm not really sold on this one yet? It better fly amazing. I've got my Beta FPV batteries. These have been just outstanding for me. So it comes with an XT30 connector. Connect up. Do we see any smoke? No smoke? Those are bright LEDs. I will give them that. And the beeper's pretty loud. That's kind of nice. So it powers on. The receiver looks good. So now I will unplug it again. Unfortunately, my smoke stopper does not have an XT30 connector on it. I might have to remedy that in the future. For now, I have to hold down the little bitty button. All right, we're gonna do beta flight really, really fast on this one. Okay, so for all intent and purposes, the receiver doesn't work. The XM, it's the same thing that happened with the leader on me, and I had to put in an XM Plus there. I'm not gonna do that here because it simply won't fit, and I don't wanna waste an XM Plus in this thing. One of the things I found is it's running Betaflight 3.10. It's ancient by all comparisons. So I'm going to update this to 3.2 just to see if that fixes my issue, because there's a huge delay between my stick inputs and the actual reception in the model. It happens eventually, so if I flip a switch, about a minute to 5 minutes later, it sorts itself out, but that is not gonna work. On to 3.2. I'm back with a couple of updates. I went to Betaflight 3.2 and that did not fix my problem. I still recommend it though, and if you have this model and you wanna go to Betaflight 3.2, follow the link up in the corner. That is actually for the Leader 120, but the process is exactly the same. It's identical, so you can follow the instructions there and get this updated. After that, I was just trying stuff to try and get the XM because I really didn't want to swap it out. And this is the third one I've had a problem with. So here's what I found. Here in the channel range for the receiver, it defaults to 1 through 8. And I don't know why, but I changed it to 1 through 16 just as it just seemed like something to try. I honestly have no idea why I tried it. And that magically fixed it. You can see all the details up in the corner now where I've actually posted a dedicated video to that to get this working, but it works, so I'm happy. So now, because I'm on 3.2, I've had to do a reconfiguration from scratch in here. We're gonna take a real quick look through just so you can see what we've got. We are serial RX on UART 3. Under configuration, I've kept multi-shot because that's what it shipped with. Maybe it'll support D-shot, maybe it won't, I don't know, but I'm fine with multi-shot on this one. I am on 8.2 for my frequencies. I do have the accelerometer turned on. I do not need the barometer, I'll turn that off. Serial and S-bus. The only thing we've really got going down here is OSD, and I have anti-gravity and dynamic filters turned on, and beeper, I've turned it off on the USB so we don't go beep, 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 beep. Under the receiver now, everything looks good. We have TAER, and now when I flip a switch, it actually, switches and works. Under modes, I have ARM just on the default there, angle, horizon on the beginning and middle of the switch. So if I switch down here, it's acro mode. Beeper I have on switch 3, and air mode I want for horizon and acro mode. I do not want it in angle mode because it makes it hard to land. Oh goodness, I'm glad I checked this before I went and flew because that is ridiculous. Okay, hold on. Okay, turned off most of that, so I like the center crosshairs and the timers so I know what's going on there. The fly mode just to make sure I know what I'm in. Craft name, warnings are good, and average cell voltage, I love that. If you haven't heard this before, I love the average cell voltage and disarmed, so I know when it's disarmed. That's good enough, so I'll save that too. Glad I didn't try and fly it with all that junk on. There we go. Now I'm gonna put it back together and we'll go and try and fly it. All right, I'm gonna do this line of sight to start with because of the concerns with the receiver. At a glance though, the camera looked really good. So beeper sounds good. We are armed. We are in angle mode now. Got a little bit of front tilt. I'm at about half throttle for staying level. Boy, it sounds like it's working awfully hard, doesn't it? It's a little... Okay, let's do a full punch out. Oh my gosh, that's slow. Holy cow. I've not done any of the PT1 filters or regular filters, but man, that thing sounds like it's working really hard. Probably because it's so heavy. Try horizon mode. Okay, yeah, you're slow, buddy. This is on 0.7, so it's slow. I prefer 0.8, so things will turn faster in air mode and in rate mode. I guess it works. This is 2S, and this is a not full battery. It's nice and easy to control. I'll give it that. Huh. All right, well that's good enough. This is with the 3S battery. All right, so I've got the 3S, and this one should be fully charged. Those my other 2S wasn't, and that sounds better. Whoa. It's like it has prop wash in its own. I'm gonna blame part of this. Well, one, this camera is terrible. This camera is absolutely terrible. I'm like, hey look, it's the sun. I can't see anything. Oh look, I can't see where I'm going. It responds well enough on 3S, but man, it's just eating this battery, and I'm gonna blame the props for that partially, because these 5-blade props, they just look terrible, they sound terrible, they're terrible. Yeah, this is not a good drone. It's just not. I'm sorry, I wish it was. I paid enough for it, it should be, but for what it is, it's just not. It's eaten through this 3S. It's not exceptionally fast with the 3S. Overall, it's just not good. I'm gonna go try and change the props and change the filters, and let's see how warm the motors are. I will change all of the filters for Betaflight 2, change the props, and we'll see what happens then. I mean, look at that. I can't see where I am coming to land. I can't see it because of the sun. It's terrible. Terrible. So here's some shots of it after taking off the static filters and changing the props, and it flies a little better. I would say this thing just flies okay. If you have one, you know what? It's all right. It's a good little flyer. It flies around. It's kind of quick, but it's not great. It's not the one I would choose. So that's the big thing. If you're looking out and deciding which drone do I want to buy, this is not the one I would pick. I think its main problem is it's just too heavy. So if you have it, I would recommend taking these off. That will help a lot. Get the weight down. Anything you can do to reduce the weight will help it immensely, because just like shooting into the sky, it didn't do it fast, even on 3S. It's definitely an attractive design, but it's not a Falcon, maybe a Sparrow. I'd give it a pass. If you found this useful, leave a like down below and comment if you want to see this in one of the next giveaways. I tend to keep stuff that I'm gonna need to keep for comparisons, but this really isn't gonna make a comparison list, I don't think. So it's gonna end up in a giveaway. And until next time, remember, the airspeed velocity of an unladen Falcon is pretty slow.